I kind of need that. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Janaea, if you do not know me, and this is Monster Arts. Hello everybody, it's been a minute, how are you? Hope you're doing well. In this video today I will be delving into custom clothing. I think every artist or anyone that enjoys drawing or doing art would absolutely love to have their artwork on a piece of clothing at some point or another. Almost on every single social media I have, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, whatever, there's always a section that I find myself delving into, which is customizing clothing, upcycling, painting on clothing, stuff like that. I literally have an entire board on Pinterest where I just save clothes that I would want to make at some point. I definitely already have made some customized clothing in my past, because I do in fact own a sewing machine, but we won't be using that today. I've made clothing for other people, like this hoodie I made for one of my friends. I've made some other stuff for myself. There's multiple different ways you can customize clothing, including bleaching, like I have this one, cutting shapes into clothing, like this little skeleton top that I actually really want to do at some point. You can also just like cut off the collar of some shirts and it looks pretty cool. I've done that to a couple of my shirts before. I really also enjoy patchwork. I really want to do that at some point in the future. But today we will be customizing some t-shirts. I'm also going to be using like a mix of media. I'm going to be using lino printing and screen printing. I will be going through the entire process of how to make these materials and print them. Like I said, there's so many different ways to customize your clothing, so please let me know if you'd want to see more videos like this, because I definitely want to do a bleaching video at some point, because those are really fun to make. Anyways, enough yapping. I think it's time to customize some shirts. So I found a little life hack to use your iPad as kind of like a light box. So if you've drawn something like this that you want to transfer onto paper, you can go to settings. You can go to accessibility and scroll all the way down, go to guided access, turn guided access on, and the way you access this is you tap the power button 3 times and it'll lock your screen. So if you go back into here, your guided access should be on and you go 1, 2, 3. That should come up and you can now use it as a cute little light box. For example, there you go, and then you can just outline. I'm doing it really crappy because I'm just kind of showing you, but there, and then it doesn't register that you're touching it. And to turn it off, you just click it again 3 times. It should come up with a little password, press end, and then it'll register that you're touching it. So I'm going to be doing that. So this is the design that I have come up with for my little t-shirt design, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking off the text real quick, transfer this onto some paper, and then we can transfer the sketch onto lino to make something like this. So these studio printing ink is what I will be using as well. These are the only colors I have at the moment, but you can also still use acrylic if you would like. It's a little bit harder to work with because acrylic is most of the time a little bit more runny than this. This is like tacky ink. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so we've run into a little bit of a dilemma. My phone stand that I film everything on broke. So I've jury-rigged my phone up to my tripod. So if this falls at any point, disregard it. Anyway, we're gonna do a test print of this on just some scrap piece of paper that I have. So I have this piece of glass from a picture frame, just an old picture frame, because I find that this is actually a lot easier to clean the ink off of than a palette. What we're gonna do, we're gonna roll this out. Get that all nice and coated in the ink, and then we're just gonna roll that over the top of the lino. Take this piece of paper, put it on top. It doesn't matter that there's a little hole in my paper, but it's fine, it's just a test. Try and get all of the ink off of the lino. You can also get a clean one of these. I don't have one, but we get a clean one of these and roll it over the top of the piece of paper or whatever you're printing on to get it like an even coating, but I don't have that. A lot of the times I do this with just like something else I have. And once you think that you've got all of that off, just... Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my god, I'm so happy right now. That looks so cool. I love that red actually. That's gorgeous. Yay. So for the actual lettering portion of the t-shirt design, I'm not going to make a lino print. I am going to make a screen print. And apparently for this project, I will also have a friend. So in the past, I actually also did a 3-month screen printing apprenticeship, learning all the ins and outs of how to screen print and what makes a good screen. And so I'm going to take those tools and do a little DIY at home version screen print. These are the materials you will need. You don't have to use Mod Podge. You can always just use regular PVA glue. This is screen printing mesh, so I got it from my local arts and crafts store, but you can also find a lot of screen printing materials on Amazon. This is just a cheap old picture frame. Don't need that. Don't need the glass. Oh my god. You just need this. Are you gonna stay here the entire time? Alright. You'll need a really good hefty stapler. One that can preferably do this. You're gonna need to be able to staple the edges of the screen mesh to the edges of this. So what we're gonna do is we're going to measure out how much screen mesh we would need to make the screen. So I'm guessing it's about a good inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to get better scissors. That's what we're going to do. Obviously you'll get way more than you probably will need. What are you going to do? You're going to take this and put all your power onto that. Sometimes they don't really go in like you see there. That's fine. Okay, I changed frames because this guy was so hard to staple into. Can you see the amount of staples that I use? Let's see if this one's easier. Oh god, yeah, that's so much easier. That went in so easy, baby. Amazing. Okay.
What are you making?
I'm trying to make like a screen for a screen printing thing.
You know I've got a staple, don't I?
Oh my god. Really?
Really?
Okay, once you've got your million staples in this thing, you can cut the axis. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. It's not like we're running a company. Now that you've got all the dog hair and cat hair in the world on your screen, but now that you've got this, you're gonna go around with PVA glue, Mod Podge, any type of glue, super glue, hot glue, anything like that. Go over the staples around the edges to make sure that the edges are secure. Same on this side, and then you've got a pretty good screen that can now have a stencil in it. So pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm outlining where I want the stencil to be. I recommend doing what I've done here and drawing out your design on a piece of paper beforehand and kind of just putting the screen over it to trace over. I recommend doing this in a permanent marker. Yeah, you'll be able to see it on the screen pretty much forever, but it doesn't affect the print whatsoever. This is where you get your Mod Podge or PVA glue. At this point, flip your screen over, because whatever you're using, Mod Podge, PVA glue, stuff like that, it will seep through the screen and you don't want it touching your work surface, gluing it to your table. The purpose of doing this is replacing the emulsion in the process of actual screen printing. If you don't know what emulsion is, it's a light sensitive liquid that is applied to the mesh screen, so when it's exposed to light, it creates a stencil. You place a transparent print over top of the emulsion and you let it cure under UV light for about 15 minutes, and then afterwards you can wash out the stencil, so what hasn't cured will wash out, and then creating a stencil. Okay, cool. Now that this is all done, I recommend doing the glue maybe once or twice just to make sure it's definitely locked in there. Now that this is all dry, I'm going to do a quick test print just to show how this works. So we always want to print it this way, and we want this to sit directly on what we're printing on. Going in with the same red ink I did for the brain test, and we're just going to put it directly on the screen instead of putting it on a little palette. Now in actual screen printing there's these things called squeegees. Again, I don't have one. So what we're going to be using instead is like a really good hard piece of either wood or cardboard, and what we're going to do is we're going to take it, put it sideways, hold the screen, make sure it's not going to move, and we're just going to drag. Okay, I definitely need more ink than that. Whoopsies. Take two. We're just going to drag that over it. Any extra ink just like lay on top there. And then this should and there you go. You have a screen print. It's always good to do test prints before you actually print, because as you can see these lines aren't exactly crisp. If you want to go back, clean the screen with water, go back and go in with more of this just to make the lines perfect, you can totally do that and then do another test print. But I think this is completely fine to me. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit like rough. So yeah, let's get on with making an actual t-shirt. Alright, it's time to actually print a shirt. What we're going to do is I have this big piece of wood that we are going to shove inside of the shirt to make sure it doesn't transfer onto the other side. This can be a very tedious process just because you need to find the exact middle of the shirt. Make sure you're able to like see the sleeves, because most of the time you're going to be measuring from each corner of the sleeves, find where the middle is. And just like the test print that we did earlier, put your ink onto the glass, take a little bit of the ink on the roller like that, and roll it out until it's a good even coating. Make sure it is fully saturated. My roller is screaming for some reason. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna pray. That's what we're gonna do, we're gonna pray. I just got ink on my fingers, so try not to do that. Figure out where you think the middle is. I kind of go off of these parts of the sleeves. I am eyeballing this, so if I get this wrong, it is entirely my fault. Definitely measure. Don't do what I'm doing, but I kind of want it to be a little bit askew or anything along those lines, just so you can see that it's made by somebody. But I'm gonna guess there. I'm sweating. Oh my god. Okay, and what I normally do is I put something on top of it, and then but I use all of my weight on this guy right here. All of my weight. Using this, putting it on top, just gives it like a flat surface. Use all of your weight. You can even stand on it if you want to. I'm not gonna do that. A lot of like professional lino printers that you like can see on Instagram or stuff like that, they have these like machines that fully just flatten anything that you're printing on to give it all of the pressure. But obviously we're working from a bedroom, so we don't have that. So we're using elbow grease. Once you feel like you've pressed down on it enough, and take that off. You can always, as well, like peel a little bit and check if you feel like you've done enough. And if you don't feel like it's strong enough of a print, you just go back in with your fingers, trying not to move this at all. You're just pressing down, you're not moving it side to side. Moment of truth. Hold the fabric or whatever you're printing on down just below the actual print so you're not moving it. I think that's pretty good actually. I'm happy with that. Right there, I'm happy with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that completely dry. We're going to leave it alone. And then we're going to come back in once it's completely bone dry, dry to the touch, doesn't smudge whatsoever. We're going to go over it with an iron just to completely seal in all of the ink and the colour into the fabric itself. Okay, it is time to do some screen printing. Now, what's really cool about screen printing, like this, is that you can see through the screen. So you can see exactly where you want it to be. I'm printing on a dark shirt and I've already printed with a dark colour. So it's a little bit harder to see, but on camera you probably can't see it at all. But with my eyes, I can just see the outline of the brain through this. So that gives me a good indication where I want it. Now I'm pretty positive I'm gonna have to print this twice because I'm using a red ink. You can always go in, print it first with white, let it dry, iron it again, and then go in with your desired color. That gives it a really, really good pigment. Even if your white isn't that pigmented, it'll show up pretty good. But what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna print it twice with the red because I want to be able to see these little ridges in the brain through the red. I might not see it fully after the second pass. I still want to be able to see them, and I want you to be able to read the wording without it seeping through the shirt too much. Honestly, we're just gonna wing it. I'm gonna line this up where I kind of want it. As you can see, I've test printed this multiple times just off camera, and it's kind of stained the screen a little bit. Don't worry too hard about it. It doesn't affect the print whatsoever. Some colors will stain mesh, but it doesn't affect it too much. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous right now. I'm not panicking, you're panicking. Okay, cool. As you can see, like, I kind of went over it again here, and you can kind of see that. This is where I went over it once, this is when I went over it twice. I'm gonna wait for that to completely dry, print it over again, and then I think we'll be pretty much done. That looks so cool. I love that. Oh my god. Ah, okay. I'm being a little bit impatient. We are back. I did clean the screen a little bit just so I could see through it a little bit more, just so I know exactly where I'm going, but I am 99% sure that that's exactly where that is. So we're gonna go again. As you can see, I printed way more than the first time, but that's kind of learning from my mistakes from the first time. Yes! Okay! Yay! Oh my goodness. Okay, that is so much better. Oh my god, I got a little bit of ink there. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I got a little bit of ink there. On the R, I think I messed up a little bit. I like a little bit off skew, but that doesn't matter at all. You can't even tell. Okay, we're gonna wait for this to completely dry. We're gonna iron it like we did the brain, and then it's pretty much done. I also have like a little print of my logo, and I might put that somewhere, but I'm not too sure, but we'll figure that out later. But we're done. Oh my god, I'm so excited. The t-shirt is done. It's completely finished. I've got it on. But before I show you the final result of the t-shirt, I want to show you this. In the process of making the t-shirt, I also made myself a little print. Now, this lives on my wall above my little workstation so I can look at it all the time. Since I printed it, I've kind of been showing it off to anyone that I can. I'm honestly so happy with it. Anyway, let's get on with the reveal of the t-shirt. So this is it. I ended up adding my little logo there. It didn't turn out the way that I kind of wanted it to, but honestly that's completely okay with me. I've printed it before, it turned out okay, but I've never actually printed it on fabric. So this was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but that's okay. I'll probably end up remaking that little guy in the future just to make it a little bit more crisp and all that, but that's okay. It's all about trial and error. But anyways, I am absolutely obsessed with this shirt. I love it so much. I'm probably going to be wearing it all the time from now on. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it. I had so much fun filming this video, and I definitely plan to do more stuff like this in the future. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I would love to make a bleaching clothes video. I've kind of already got a plan in my head on how I want like a hoodie to look, I want to make some patches, sew them on, do some bleaching, stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that video next. I think I'm probably gonna start filming that after this one. Anyways, if you liked this video, please give it a good old thumbs up down below. And also let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I will definitely still be doing paintings and all that stuff. But honestly, I had so much fun making this t-shirt that I'm like, let's do more of this. This is cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you so much. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.